I think we can start the session now. So once again, thank you so much everyone for being a part of this session, for coming here and joining this session. The session is on water audit and the international credential. Like if you want to do the water audit, like which credential can help you to do this type of work. So today we have two guest speakers. One is Ashu Gupta and one is Maria. So I will share the details further. But in the meantime, I'm just sharing my screen. Just so this is the fourth episode learning webinar series. So you can see it's a fourth episode. If you have not been a part of the last three episodes, I request please go to our D2O Learning YouTube channel and you can have a look on the recording of other three episodes. So this is the fourth episode that we are doing today. And this is the flyer that we created. The water audit is the like today's session is on water audit international credential, and this session is supported by our team is from the CYPE Spain as well. So CYPE Software is supporting us to organize this session, and they will also take a session during this webinar. And we have this is the housekeeping rules. Already, actually, we have muted all the people, but still, this is the housekeeping rules for all the people who are in the presenter mode right now. Keep your mic keep your mic on mute while you are not speaking. Keep your camera off while the presentation starts. Use headphones for better experience. And Q&A will be in the in the end of the session. So this is the housekeeping rules. As I mentioned, these are the two speakers that we have today. Mr. Ashu Gupta, who is a certified water efficiency professional from AEE, and he is a IGBC AP, JAM CP, PQP, and B certified ECBC master trainer as well, and the managing partner of Design to Occupancy. At the same time, we have Miss Maria from CYPE Software, who is industrial engineer and CYPE technical support team. So I welcome both the speakers for coming and taking time for this session and giving insights. So I have a question for all the people. Are you ready to learn something new today? Just put yes in the chat box or ready in the chat box. Just put ready in the chat box if the chat box is accessible to you. Just put ready in the chat box if you are ready to learn something new today in the session. And getting the points here. All right, so I have received various responses in the chat box. Ready. Okay, people are ready to learn something new. The water audit, which is very, very important as like energy audit. So we will learn today. All right. So I request to Ashu to start the session. Then we will have Maria from site, and the session is going to be for 90 minutes from now. So please stay here, and we will take your feedback also, and we will provide you the certificate of participation as well, which you can share on the social media or like you can keep with yourself. So let's start for the session. Ashu, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anuj. Like always, the motivating words you always do. The ready are your way to style of to start a workshop. So great. First of all, thank you everyone. I can see a lot of faces who has been part of the D2S scholars, and I'm really happy to see a lot of people are joined because the time now it is not virtual. Everything is physical. So I can see earlier the people, the 200, 300 people joined, but today the 50 people, but still, I would say the 50 people is this virtual world we have. I'm sure all are the people who are learning good things in the next 1.5 hours. You will get to know a lot of new things which is happening in some other areas. So in water specifically. So guys, myself Ashu Gupta and like Anuj has introduced me, I am a managing partner of a company called Design to Occupancy. It's a sustainability consulting firm in India, and we do a lot of work related to the sustainability. And I'm just going to share my screen right now because the today topic is very popular and very attractive because I saw several people send me a WhatsApp message to just okay. I'm sure my screen is fully visible, Anuj.
Yes, it is visible.
Anuj, is my screen are visible to everyone?
Right, it's visible.
All right, great. So okay. Or hope my okay. So great, guys. So today's topic, because we were talking so many things about energy efficiency, green buildings, but somehow we are not able to connect the dots. law that the is my voice as audible and visible, right?
Ashu, your voice was breaking in between, but it is fine now.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, it is fine now.
Okay, great. I think might be some internet issues at my place. So guys, I was talking that because why this is very new topic, that this is not a new for India. Of course, we know the audit it is, but why the water? Why water, and how we can become a water audit credentials? How can we achieve and how can we certified? So that is something I'm really fortunate to say that I'm a first one in India who actually did this course and certified as a water efficiency professional. There are around 160 people, 169 people in all over the world who are certified from in water efficiency professional. So I will discuss more on that. But before that, what kind of the legislation the government is talking about, what we are doing, what actually happening, that I will go through that. So this is water audit. Everyone is aware, and thanks to D2O Learning to initiate these kind of the episodes every week or bi-weekly to motivate. So let's talk about the water crisis, because sometimes we forgot that water is something without that we don't have life. Energy or something, definitely we can live still. We were living in earlier days without energy, but water is something, without water we cannot think about life. And you must be amazed to these numbers, because this is something alarming numbers. You can see that there has been a crisis because the demand and the water availability by 2030, there is a 40% gap, and it is increasing every day to day, because every day the population increasing, every day the demand is getting increases. And that is something the global water guys, not this is not only just in India, this is, I'm talking globally. And there has been a drop of 55% in the fresh water per capita since 1960. That is alarming. In last 60 years, you can see the 55% drop in the availability fresh water per capita. The demand is increasing by 50%. Water scarcity is more than 40% of the global population is facing. And by 2050, the 2.3 billion people can expect it to living in areas where the water scarcity will be there. And this is, I think, you can see the water scarcity is 6% of their GDP, and worldwide total cost of water insecurity is can be the 500 US billion dollar annually. And that is something the environmental impact it is. And you can see that recently the IPCC report, which is the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, that degree of the global warming approximate 7% of the global population will be exposed to a decrease of the renewable water sources of at least 20%. And these are not just the report, these are the alarming figures. And we are living our life so lavishly, but what will happen to our future generation? And that is the food for thought now. So because we do, because we are, if something is very expensive, we always care to save that. Like I have seen earlier, the energy cost was also not so high, the people were not bothering about it. But now the prices are getting increased, the people are focusing on energy efficiency. But water is something in our country, like in India, is just kind of the free. So that's the reason we don't value that, and we do a lot of wastage. And in the building sector, I will talk about it, why the building or the industries need this water audit or water the measurement which is required. So water related disasters, everyone knows that. I'm not going to repeat on that, but of course, so many people also died due to the hydrological disaster. But of course, we are talking about today on auditing part, but water is a big subject, very big subject, which the people are not aware about all those things. So most of us, every person want understand, world has a 70% of the entire surface of the entire world is 70% is water. But when we talk about the drinking water, only the 3% of that water is the drinking purpose. And you can see the most of take as a clean water for granted, but 768 million people around the world is its luxury. You can imagine we think that it is granted, but actually for many peoples in the developing countries, the clean water is some kind of the luxury, because every day by day, the quality of the water is degrading everywhere. So water crisis in India, let's talk about that. But India is facing a freshwater crisis. India has just 4% of the world freshwater. And you can imagine the population of India is approximate 16 and a half of the global population. We are around 1.38 billion people and it is getting increasing. Entire world, 16.5% of the entire world we are as a country in India, and only the 4% of the world fresh water is in India. So you can imagine the crisis we will be facing in future for the water. 76 millions are without access to safe drinking, but this story is not a new. Everyone knows that. I'm not going to talk on that. But of course, I want to just recall all those things which is alarming. And water is something which we are neglecting a lot of the time. 20% of the country diseases are for the water related because of the quality of the water. Over 29,000 children under 5 died due to the diarrhea in India in 2015. You can imagine that is the issue because not of the clean water. And you can see the national loss of income, the 10 billion million USDs, and when we talk about the INR is 10 billion INR and 160 million.
Ashu, we lost your connection.
Anuj, I'm just connecting on my another.
Sure.
I would say that just give me a moment.
So in the meantime, like all the participants can have a look on the screen that like these are the stats for the India water crisis. So just have a look and imagine the condition of India as of now for the water.
Anyone confirm me? Anuj?
Yes. It is audible.
Sorry that I think changed my internet Wi-Fi. Sorry for the glitches, guys. But I can still the bad quality is showing off, but I'm sure I can manage now. I'm just off my camera. I'm going to share now. So sorry for the technical glitch, guys. I think I'm audible now properly. My screen is visible, right? So this is the total potential area to the brought under the micro irrigation, drip and sprinkler irrigation. That is all that. So let's talk about that. What actually the water contains. So if you look at the 2000 and 2050, just look at that example. The 2000, the global population was 6.2 billion people. And by 2050, it is estimated that 9.51 billion population will be on the globally. The 48% of the population growth will happen in the last 50 years, or in, of course, in the next 25 years too. And similarly, if you look at the global water consumption, the global water consumption 3.5 then we got kilometer cube, and while the 2050 will be the 5.60% growth in the water demand. So that is something, and these are the resources not from my side. These are the some reports are talking about it, and we have to think more now in the water context, and that is I want to highlight. So water demand in India, it was projected, and of course the projection for the 2025 to 2050, you can look at that how much the water goes. If you look at that irrigation, because in our country the most of the water demand goes in the irrigation, and you can see the some hats like drinking water, industrial purpose, energy, and other purpose, others of course, and it is in a billion cubic meters. So what was in 2010, what will be in 2025, and what will be in the 2025 as a projection for the next few years. So this is how the India demand water demand. So if we continue this trend, water reduction happen one project at a time, and that is the reason proper implementation of water management strategies require an understanding of the major water consuming equipment and the best practices approaches to reduce consumption in those systems. So let's talk about it. Cause because we know the causes and the solution of the water crisis in India. The water problem of India has many facets. The global warming has altered in the rainfall pattern in India dramatically, and we have seen this. We are we are in the October month, and the north part of India. We never expected sometimes the rainfall in this area in this month, but we were having the great rainfall. You can see in Uttarakhand, in those areas, so much flood is coming up, and that kind of the disasters we have not thought about it, that is happening every day. We are looking at that. Similarly, the construction of the dams, hydroelectric project, and water diversion for irrigation, systematically destroying large river ecosystem. India uses more groundwater than any other country in the world, and groundwater exploitation has causes accelerated drying of the aquifers, and that is happening. The quality, like I live in the state called Rajasthan, and everyone is aware the quality of the water, because if you go to the 200 feet or 300 feet down the line, then you get the water drop. And that water quality has a TDS level more than 1000 or 1200 TDS level. We cannot drink directly. We need RO for that to treat that. And RO also rejects a lot of water. So there are the issues and causes. We know each one of us know that, not a rocket science, but solution. But of course, solution is one thing is the awareness, and of course, awareness and the implementation, because that is something like we do a lot of awareness on the green building, we do a lot of awareness for the energy efficiency, water efficiency awareness we need to take here. And when if we are going to make a smart city in India, we should make a smart citizens in India. The smart citizen can do a proper judgment, of course, how much water or the energy or the natural resources we require. So at community level, water conservation is absolute necessary to reduce pressure from the groundwater and agriculture practices. So we need to employ the planting crops that require less water. We need to use native plants in that. We need to set up some irrigation system without leakages and developing farm-based water conservation system. Local government, Gram Panchayat can take part in the water conservation and by utilizing the watershed and development. And at the district level, it is important to encourage farmers to choose crops wisely. And also at the student level, we need to guide in the school that how to we can save water. Actually, these kind of the things should happen more and more. And fact and policy, you must know. So India is the, I told you, India is the biggest user of the groundwater in the world, and 85% of the rural India's drinking water supply is derived from the groundwater resources only, and we are more dependent on that. Food supply at risk, and of course, already the Jal Shakti Mantralaya is doing a lot of efforts, and of course, this is the ministry. If someone is not aware, but this is the Jal Shakti Mantralaya in India. Jal Shakti Ministry is taking care, and the role of that ministry, that government related water related surface water, groundwater, pollution control, river rejuvenation, irrigation, among others. This is the ministry aim to implement the ease of the implementation of larger water related programs. You know that I'm sure in the last few months, the Prime Minister has launched the Catch the Rain program, that we need to conserve the rainwater. Similarly, the Jal Shakti Mantralaya is doing the Ghar Ghar Jal or Ghar Ghar Nal. That scheme is going on, so that they want to do the tap water at every home level. So a lot of things are happening, but it's still several things which we can do, which is missing at this moment, which we can't do. So the first thing, whenever we want to save anything, the first step to do a measurement, and measurement can happen with the purpose of audit, because without measurement you cannot save anything. And water audit is the same thing. Everyone heard the energy audit, everyone heard the chartered accountant do the tax audit, but why we can't have the water audit at every level? So that is, I'll talk about it, that what is happening, what how's going on. But water audit is a systematic process of objectively obtaining the water balance by measuring the flow of water from the site of water withdrawal or treatment through the water distribution system or into areas where it is used and finally discharged. And that is something, the first step to make a water balance chart, how much water you are taking and how much water you are using, from where the you are getting and from where it is going. And that is called a water balance chart. And we should definitely prepare this chart to know where we are consuming more and more. So goals of water audit, and this is very important. What are the goals? The first is allocate water use and prepare a water balance. So of course we need to understand and prepare a water balance, how much we are using. Expose inefficient water use, and that is something we need to, if we have some inefficiency in the system, like if we found some kind of WCMs called water conservation measures, we need to find out where we can save the water, and we need to highlight those as an expose. Third thing is identify and quantify leaks or unexplained losses. So there is a lot of leakages happens in our faucet, also in the transfer of the water from one space to other. We need to identify and the quantify or unexplained losses, what is happening. Observe potential alternative water resources. We need to think in the direction that water is something you cannot generate. You cannot, of course, whatever the groundwater you are having or something, but we need to think about the alternative water sources like the rainwater or like the treated water. We can treat the water through the treatment plants, and we can utilize that water, and that non-potable applications such as irrigation or cooling tower, we should use that alternative water sources. Utilize proven tools and resources. So of course we need to put the proper monitoring, we need to put the proper monitoring, because I have seen the several buildings for the industries which only have one government meter of water. They don't do the sub-metering. They don't do the sub-metering of at every level, but the sub-metering cost is nothing. But you get to know how much you are consuming. I'm sure most of you are living in an apartment. You have the electricity meter, but you don't have a water meter, still in India, because you are not paying for that. The entire society, you do the society charges, and they are doing that. Water meter is not at the flat level. Who is consuming more on that? So what is how the comprehensive facility water audit? So first step is prepare for audit. Second is the measure supply. How much supply of the water is coming up? It is 100 kiloliter per day, 100 kiloliter per KLD, or the 200 KLD or the 500. So measure supply, how much water we are getting from the groundwater, or either it is coming the municipal corporation, or either it is coming from the tanker. So that is something we need to measure supply. The third step is the measure submetered users. Of course, if you are using the water for different purpose like flushing, for landscaping, for irrigation, or for cooling tower, please do the submetered that and measure the submetered data. Perform a walkthrough audit. Whenever you go for any site, any building, any industry, just look at where the water is used going on, and that is called a walkthrough audit. Estimated unmetered use. If you find out that there are the several areas where you have not calculated the water use, please estimate that also area where you can put meter in the future. Estimate losses. I have seen several industries where the losses are happening too much, and we do not care of that, but we need to understand how much loss it is happening in our process. Develop water balance chart, because once you develop a water balance chart, your entire things will be easy to understand from where it is coming, from where it is going. So you will get to know where I need to focus more. And the eighth point is determine cost. How much the cost for the implementation of any conservation measures, how much it is costing to me. So that is something that determine cost. Also, what are the cost of the water? Evaluate efficiency opportunities and develop plan of action. So that is something that is the 10th step. The entire steps, 10 steps for the any water audit, either you do for your home also. Like if you're consuming a lot of water, just go to the washrooms and see if your flush having how much fluoride. Now your faucet, how much fluoride, what type of shower you are using, where the kitchen sink you are using, how much water is going in that. And that is any person can do in a it doesn't require any rocket science. It just only required your sense of humor, that how you are calculating. So benefit of water audit, when we talk about water audit, improves the knowledge and documentation of distribution system, leads to reduced water losses, financial performance improved, and of course the efficient use of the existing supplies. And you can see that of course measure Water Audits has given 15 to 20% water savings. And it is not just a water saving, because water and energy has a nexus. If you are saving the water, your energy efficiency will also happen, because you need a pumping to pump that water. If your water consumption is less, your pumping energy will be also less. And that is something, the energy water nexus directly related to that. So that is the water audit, benefits of the water audit and importance of the water audit. So water loss is a critical global problem. And of course, whenever recently in one of the Man Ki Baat, and Prime Minister also highlighted this, that we need to focus, that we need to, water loss is a very critical problem, because a lot of people say the water is scarcity. Our state has a lot of water. We are fortunate country that we have a lot of rainwater still, but sometimes the transfer from the one area to the another area at the home level is having a lot of losses there. And according to the World Bank, that around 45 million meter cube of the water is lost every day, which counts at 3 billion USD every year. And you can imagine that how much it is impacting. And that is something, is the opportunity for the startups to come in that how, because this is the issue, and you can generate something, you can your idea can do wonders in that area. So steps involved in the water audit, of course, I told water supply and the use study. So this is some detail, the preparation of layout, water resources, record of past consumption, look at the last 3 years water consumption, and then data of the rainwater harvesting and the effluent, which is called ETP, effluent treatment plant, or the STP, the sewage treatment plant in your building. Just look at that data. Process study and installation of the flow measurement devices. There the equipments come like ultrasonic flow meter, flow measurement. You can use that as a water audit instruments, and you can at the site level, if you don't have any metering, but you can want to see that this pipe, how much flow, how much water we are using, we can calculate with the help of meters. And monitoring quality of the distribution system, leakage assessment will be integral part. Similarly, for the system audit, current water uses, system for use under various sectors, and operational efficiency and level of maintenance. And the discharge analysis, because right now in the industries, everyone talking about the zero discharge facility or zero discharge industry, and that zero discharge, that how much water you are treating and how much is going to the outside to the site, which is going in the sewage in the sewage. So that is something we need to reduce that. So discharge analysis is also how much we are using in the domestic wastewater, return flows from irrigation or recycling of the wastewater. So in India, I want to highlight, in India, Central Groundwater Authority, I'm sure most of you are aware, there's a CGW is a department for the Groundwater Authority, and it is under Act of 1986. And of course, this authority is working in toward the direction to, whenever you have an industry building, you need to take an for the extraction of the water from the ground. And this is the authority actually, and of course some of the state authority, because some states comes under the CGWA, some states have a direct department, and from where you get the NOC of the water extraction from the earth. And that is something, and that is the this is the authority. So please always look at the website of this authority. So they have a NOC process, the processes, you have the consultant, you can work in this direction. Most of the environmental consultant field, they are working in this direction, but a lot of the young engineers can come, but it is not a very big rocket science. You can understand the process and you can enter in this area very easily. So some of the water conservation measures, everyone knows it, but I want to highlight the building related or the industrial related sometimes. And of course, basic things, everyone knows the broom instead of washing the car instant. But when you design a building, I'm sure most of you are not aware, whenever you go to purchase a water fixture like a WC, shower, faucet, you do not ask vendor to provide the LPM, the liter per minute or gallon per minute rating. And that is something, because in India, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, they have a star labeling for the energy efficiency, but nothing is on the water efficiency part. Like if as a layman, you will see it is a 5-star product, that means it consumes less water. That is not there. So that is the reason laymen do not able to understand that which is consuming more and which is consuming less. And that is kind of the wherever the water is going, which you are using as the equipment, please look at the high efficient water fixtures. And similarly, there are a lot of new technologies are coming up like aerators. The people are using aerators now in existing building, the faucet, because as an India, we have a tendency the water, if we do not feel our hand is washed, if the water is not coming in the flow. And that's the reason if we increase the pressure of that, that's called aerator. If we use that, we can save a lot of water. Now these days, the sensor-based urinal, sensor-based faucets are coming up. We need to promote more in our building to save that, because the people generally do not flush, or if they flush, they do not have how much water we need to give in that. Now these days, the waterless urinals are coming up, because whenever you go for the urinal, you don't need to put a water there, and we can save a lot of liters water in that. So that is, I will want to highlight how you can do that. And of course, the leakage, shower head, which we are using, and the metering. Metering is also very, very important part that we always has to take care in the dealer. So in India, for the building especially, or whenever you do, there's a NBC code, National Building Code. And National Building Code has a requirement to per capita per day, that how much water is required. So like if you look at the example, if you're designing a hotel 4-star or laundry kitchen with the staff, they says that person 260 liter per head per day is required. You should not, you just calculate these numbers with your consumption also. Similarly, if you are having a restaurant, if you are having a factory, your stadium, all kind of, they have a table there, and in that table, you will see that how much water requirement it is. So for any building, so please always follow the National Building Code to see the water consumption. Similarly, you can see the flushing liters per head per day, domestic and total consumptions per head per day. So that is the NBC has defined, which we have to highlight it, NBC 2016 version. So whenever you design, just always calculate, or the whenever you do the existing water audit, please check what is the design is coming up, and how.
I think there's a network connection at Ashu's end, so he will be back with the screen. Just a minute. In the meantime, if you are coming across any questions, you can put your questions in the chat box, and we can take the questions once we end the session. Request to all, please put your questions in the chat box. And now Ashu is going to cover the CWEP part, that is a Certified Water Efficiency Professional. So the questions is coming from Avinish, like who can be a it's a CWEP, Certified Water Efficiency Professional. So Ashu will share that, like it is in the next further slides, all the details, like who can be who can take these credentials and what are the benefits of this credential, so that he will share. But if you have any questions related to the water audit, like so you can ask in the chat box. And we will have one more speaker after Ashu, Miss Maria from CYPE. She will take you through the CYPE plumbing part. That is also very interesting, and you will love it. The whole dashboard of the CYPE software for the plumbing part. And it's a request to all the people, please stay here till the end of the session, so that you will get the certificate of participation, that certificate of this session, because you have to fill a one feedback form, so that we will use that for to make the certificate. So people are saying, can you share this interesting presentation? Yes, Ashu, you are back. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My mobile internet and the office internet both are not working somehow.
No problem.
I
It's
apologize for that. So just I think I'm just on the process of that. Okay. All right. So water use in the facility, because a lot of people think that water like if the building is more, the water consumption is more. But actually, it depends upon the number of occupants sometimes. Because like building is data center, but occupants are very less. You cannot say, because always the water consumption done by most of the time occupancy. And that is the reason we always talk about the per capita or per person. We per capita per person, or the per liter per capita, liter per person, we have to take care. That depends on that. So of course, conclusion, of course, most of the attention given to the water conservation in the past. And I want to highlight why this is things are happening. Last year, the CGWA, the Central Groundwater Authority, also came up with the notification in September 2020 that if any facility is consuming more than 100 KLD, which is the 100 kiloliter per day, that's very any and that facility need to be done water audit. So that is something is came up, and water audit is getting popularly because earlier the people were not thinking energy audit. Of course, in PAT scheme it was mandatory, but sometimes the water audit is the voluntary kind of thing. But after the CGWA, this notification came up, the people are talking about it. So now I'm going to talk about that how, because I was once this notification came up, I was looking on the credential and the water efficiency professional. But I found that in India, there is no organization is doing any certification program on the water efficiency. So I was looking for the worldwide that which organization is doing. So I came across with this exam, which is called Certified Water Efficiency Professional by the AEE, Association of Energy Engineers USA. And I saw that there is no one in India who is actually the certified professional in water. So how will the in future of course India will make auditors, India will make some, but what will happen? But sometimes the credentials are required in India. So this is the industry recognized certification for the energy management and the water conservation professional. And this is Association of Energy Engineers USA who conduct this exam and the CWEP exam. And it is now the thoughts comes up how we can do this exam in India and what actually the certified water efficiency professional. So water efficiency professionals are mostly often energy managers who deal in the who actually manage the facility that have selected to focus on a specific area of the water management, and it is sustainability program and that includes water efficiency. So anyone can write this exam, some eligibility criteria they, and of course, this is popular in the US and Middle East countries, but in India is a very nascent stage because right now, no organization is doing the water audit in water auditor program in India. And that's the reason in internationally I came across this exam. So of course, what this exam, they do the lot of good training program during the exam. So this program help educate and qualify individual involved in water efficiency. I'm sure most of you are aware what exactly to do the water efficiency. But in the training program, in the very exhaustive training program, they teach each and everything. How you can do the what audit in any facility like hotel, in hospital is different. Similarly, the industrial in the textile industry is different, or some power plant industry, power plant is different. So that is something they do a lot of training program related to that. And CWP certification candidates get industry and peer recognition by demonstrating. So if you look at that, of course, in the worldwide, very few people, but slowly it is increasing in the world. This because this organization AE not only do the CWEP, they have the more than 20 certification program like CEM. Everyone has heard the certified energy manager or certified energy auditor. Similarly, they have an exam on the carbon professional. If you want to do the carbon related courses, and they have a certification program in that, and you can more see on their website. But of course, the benefits, because see once you do the CWEP exam, you of course is different because you have get trained in something in water efficiency. So it is not directly, of course, CVs, because in India I would say when the green building exam came up 12 years, 13 years back, the lead AP, of course, it was getting very popular. Everyone wants to become a lead AP or the green building professional. Similarly, but there are the new areas or the new areas which are coming up, which is new certification program. So for any company, of course, if you have this credential, you will be different in that. And this, you can see the one person, if in India right now, so, but one person cannot cover the entire country. It is a big country. So we need more and more professionals in this. So this program is generally fundamental. This covers what is the, this is the index that what they cover generally in their training program. Policy, benchmarking, water balance, units conversion, M&B, domestic plumbing, kitchen equipment, laundry equipment, pools, alternative water sources, storm water management. So all those things where the water goes, because you can save things where it actually going in that. So water efficiency management and water conservation includes all these parameters. So during their training program, the trainer teach in all those areas. So who can write this exam? There is not that a student cannot directly read the exam. It needs a minimum 2 years technical degree or hold a 4-year degree. So either you are a 4-year degree, not an engineering, but you are a 4-year degree somewhere, you can go that. But of course, if you have a technical degree, minimum 2 years, because it's a worldwide different program, and minimum 1 year plus experience is required. Or of course, it is currently, of course, we are current. So they have a different program, but for this program, minimum 2 years experience is also required for this, and it is industry-wide recognition credibility for the CWEP exam, and candidate must pass the exam. How it exam happen? Of course, we are in the virtual world at this moment, so this exams also happens virtually. Virtually in the sense now you can see that how. So this is in the computer. The one invigilator will be with you who will see your entire area where you are sitting where you are doing the exam. Your everything will be closed in that time, and that person will watch you every time. This is a 4 hours exam. This is not a 1 hour, 2 hour. Lot of numerical questions also come up to do the calculation, and that this training, because that is the reason they always have a mandate training program, that any person who is writing exam, they need to attend a training, and that training will cover all the calculation, all the things. So that was very helpful training. If you do that training, I'm sure this exam will be much easier to clear that. And they have a course, the technical material also available. Once you registered for this exam, you get the materials PDF copy of around 500 pages, and you get all the details from this organization to do that. So CWEP exam, of course, I did this exam 2 months to 3 months back, and of course it was not easy because no one in India who can guide you. So I took a help from Lebanon people. That of course the Lebanon chapter was arranging a training program. So I attended those training program during the night, and once after the 2 weeks training program, this exam will have within a 1 month you need to give the exam. So I did that exam, and of course, this exam minimum some percentage criteria is a 70% is required. So that if you go beyond that, you will not able to qualify. So of course, you can find AE chapter on the website and where the training is happening, and you can register for that exam for that. So for learn more, of course, you can go through the website, but this is the exam. This first one is happening, and I encourage to all of you to go through this exam. It is not a very, I would say, very if because it is a cost. There's a huge cost of this exam also. I paid around $600 for this exam, because this is not happening in India for the worldwide, because it includes the training cost also, because it is not a easy or anyone can write a $600 exam, and and you have to read it. If you just with the one number, you can also get failed. So that is something is a lot of technical understanding is required sometimes. But I encourage to all of you to write this, because India actually needs the water professionals, water efficiency professionals, the huge potential, but the people are not there. So that's I think that entirely covered my presentation. So I'm not sure, Anuj, that question and answer at this moment, or I need to wait for the Maria. I think after the Maria presentation, we can have a question and answer round. So thank you, Anuj.
All right, thank you so much, Ashu, for a great presentation. And I can see like a lot of people have already posted the questions. So, but yes, we will take the questions in the last once Maria completes her presentation, and we will have a together Q&A. And till the time, I request, please be here. So hope all the people had a great learning on the water audit and the CWEP credential, that CWEP, that is Certified Water Efficiency Professional. Now we will learn more about the Ashu discussed about the designing of the water designing and all of this, that is called the plumbing designing. Okay, so now we will have a Maria from CYPE Software team. So she will take you what is the design factors which we should keep in mind while designing the plumbing part. Okay, so I request to Maria, please take it forward from here. Maria, you are on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay, sorry. Hello, my name is Maria Adrián. I'm an industrial engineer. I work in the technical support department, and thanks for inviting me. I'm so glad to be here today, and I hope you you understand BIM-Server.Center and our programs and how easy it is to have them and use them. Okay, so of course, feel free to ask any question you have, okay? You can ask in the chat, and also you could send an email to the support@cype.com anytime, okay? And in the technical support department, we're always glad to hear from you. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to explain what is BIM-Server.Center. This is a platform we have in which, can you see this? Can you see the BIM-Server.Center? Yes, okay. In this platform, we allow people to have projects that can be shared with their teamwork, and also it's a place where you can download in a lot of programs. For example, here, if you just have to remember this address, BIM-Server.Center, and put it in English. If we click here, you will have access to all our programs. The programs we're going to talk today, the principal one is of plumbing and wastewater. This is a plumbing water system. Okay, so that's the main program. Okay, that's the platform. Is always using open systems, open formats like IFC, and this allows us to share the results of the different calculators or with a teamwork or even for ourselves. This is in this scheme. This explains how all these are the agents that take part in a project. In this case, for example, would be the engineers, and we, the engineers, do the different parts, the different installations, electrical, plumbing, in this case, okay, water systems, and the results can be shared with other professionals. We have programs that are for calculations, like today's program, say plumbing water systems, and we have also programs developed with vendors. So they have, is what we call BIM systems. We have programs that are with the final parts of the installations with the real equipment. And well, also other thing we do is to, of course, develop applications. This is very important. Is the workflow we think is interesting to follow. Okay, the workflow. This represents the synchronizer because nowadays I think the professionals are very specialized. So some people will do maybe the architectural part, but other professionals will do the plumbing installations, others the firefighting installations, other the energy installations. We have also programs about energy simulations. Okay, maybe for another day. But the thing is that there are many agents participating in a project, not only one person. So the idea of this is that the first, maybe the architect probably does the architectural model, And then this architectural model is the initiator. And then the different agents are going to use the specialized applications in order to complete their installation. Okay, and then the result of the installation will be exported to the platform. This is the cloud, buildserver.center. So all the results, and I'm talking about the 3D, but also the different documents, the reports, etc., are all saved there and can be shared with the different people involved in the project. So that's the flow. From you need to start with an architectural model. This is exported to the platform, and then the different users of the applications will complete their installations. For today, the part I'm going to explain how the architectural model could be done with many programs. We have 3 applications, which are CYPE Architecture, a very complete program that allows to draw or model buildings from scratch, and also Ifc Builder, which is the program that we are going to talk about today. Very, very easy to use, Ifc Builder. Another option is if you have Revit, you could use our plugin in order to start the project from there. Or in case you have the architectural model was done by Allplan or any other format, you could start the project with Ifc Uploader. Okay, in this case, we're talking these 4 models are completely free. And then the next step in this workflow, okay, first the architectural or the architectural model, then we export. And what applications can we use? For example, the first one could be OpenBeam Water Equipment, which is an application in which you insert the sanitary appliances. So you put the shower, the sink, whatever equipment you need in the right position. And then the next step is to continue with the plumbing program. In this case, plumbing water systems. I'd like before, well, as today's goal is to explain how to do efficient installations, I wanted to give some examples of how we can use plumbing water systems in order to do an efficient installation. But before I do that, I'd like to show you the flow, how the workflow works. Okay, let me explain. First of all, it's important to have installed the buildserver.center synchronizer. This is installed when you install the program. Okay, so I use Ifc Builder, the program for creating the architectural model. In this program, you see here, okay, the name of the program. I used templates, DWG templates, in order to draw the building. This program works in 2D. It's very easy. You can snap the template, and by drawing in 2D, you get a 3D and actually an IFC that is exported to the project. I'll show you in this example. You can see this is connected to a project named Water Audit. This is if I show you my account in buildserver.center, you can see that these are the options that we have. The contacts part is important because one of the goals of the platform is to give to share the projects with more agents. So you can invite users to your project. Well, this is one important part. And the store, of course, where you can download the programs. And here, the projects. These are the projects I'm working in. The project for today is Water Audit. By now, what I have done is the architectural model that is here, okay? This is the architectural model. And then the next step was here, well, the most important parts here, I think, are the fact that I have created floors with their, okay, And as I have delimited the spaces with walls and partitions, I have been able to create spaces. There are some types of spaces and also the individual part of space by space. Okay, if I have done this and I export it to the project, the next step was to start a new file with OpenBeam Water Equipment, okay, the program for which reads the floor plans with their elevation automatically. This is read from the model, the architectural model. So in this program, I only have to insert the different elements. I have a library of elements, and I just need to click in the part where maybe in this case, for example, I had a template with the position of the different elements. I use that template, and by that, what I got is this representation. You can see here, maybe better. You can see the elements, the elements of OpenBeam Water Equipment, or if I want to, I can use the 3D with the architectural model at the same time. Okay, so what is the next step? As I said, first Ifc Builder, then OpenBeam Water Equipment. Okay, Ifc Builder, OpenBeam Water Equipment. The next step is using CYPE Plumbing Water Systems. With CYPE Plumbing Water Systems, now I'm going to show you how this works, okay, how the flows works. I create a new file. I can save it, for example, in a folder with the name of the project. So everything is in the same folder. In this case, the native files are in the computer. And this is the most important part, is where the program asks me which project I want to use. If I say that I want to use the Water Audit project, now the program detects that I have an initiator created with Ifc Builder and an additional file from OpenBeam Water Equipment, which includes the appliances. If I accept, here you see I'm reading the floors, I'm reading the space types, and very important, the general options. In this moment, this is the most important part of the program, okay? Because CYPE Plumbing Water Systems is a very flexible program, a program that allows you to tailor-make the checks you want to make. Okay, so I'm going to stop here a little moment. When you start in this part here, in this button, you see the import configuration. We have a number of pre-configured standards. For example, the British standard. If I accept here, I can see different checks that I could make. For example, horizontal pipe with simultaneity. It could have this formula for the simultaneity and these limits of velocity in this type of pipe, for example. Okay, I have this. I have a list of consumptions. Probably, for example, I have meters. Probably in your case, it could be really useful to create your own checks. For example, it is very easy to do that. For example, imagine you will have a list of consumptions, but maybe you want to create another one that is more specific from where you are. You can create a new one with all the data you need, and then once you have done it, this is example only, you can export it to the library, so you can use it in other files. Actually, instead of only one by one, what I do is create my own requirements for everything, for the different parts, accessories, etc. maybe another catalog of pipes or anything else, and export it to the library. Then you can share it with your colleagues, or somebody can send it to you. In my case, for example, I have changed it a little bit what comes by default with the British standard. So now, if I want to use a horizontal pipe, I have more types. I have created a special one for the interior that doesn't change the diameter when I'm designing. I have created one for the return, etc. Okay, so that's very advisable to create your own checks. Okay, that's fine. Then if I press next, the program is reading. Here I'm in the wizard that is reading the IFC. Okay, a little reminder. I read the plans, the space types. I set the general options, and in this moment, Plumbing Water Systems knows that I have 6 types of consumptions in the OpenBIM Water Equipment file. That's why it asks me, well, sorry, because here you see the kind of consumptions I have. Okay, these are in the British standard. So in this part, the program asks me, when I see a toilet in OpenBIM Water Equipment, how do I want it to read it here? In this case, I want it as for example, a WC cistern. What about wash basins? I have one in the British standard. The same with the shower. Again, it's important that you could have more than one type. Okay, that's up to you. You can create your own options. In this case, for example, for kitchen sink, there are 3 types. I can decide that this is the right type, for example. And washing machines, this one is okay, and this washer, here it is. If I finish, when I press that, the model is red, and what I have is the program reads the floors, is reading this from the architectural model. In fact, here I can activate it. Okay, okay, it's reading this. So I have already all the floors. I have the spaces. You see here in brown, I can see the limits of the different spaces. I'm more interested in this case in the kitchen and the bathrooms, of course, okay, because it's where I have the different consumptions. Of course, it is possible to create or to insert consumptions from here, okay, because for example, this is a shower head, the wash basin, etc. I could insert now anything I need. Another element, okay, it's totally possible to do it now. But with this workflow, we think this workflow is safer, because imagine you want to create a new element. It's better if the element is created here, so the information is shared, and all the programs that need this element, for example, sanitary systems, that is the other program we have for the water evacuation, will know that there is another element. Okay, so more or less this is the flow. I wanted to explain a little bit how the flow works. Of course, now that this is inserted, the next step would be to start drawing the different pipes, connecting the pipes to the installation, etc. Okay. Today we don't have time for this, so what I'm going to do is open a file that I have already completed. Okay. This is here it is. Okay, this is another file with the installation completed. It's exactly the same model. Okay, but with the different. I already drew the pipes. Okay, so anyway, here in the store, you see. Remember, in the store in the server.center, in this place you can download the program. Of course, first you have to log in, to register. Okay, here, register here, and you will be able to download the program, and you have access to available documents. I think it's very interesting this. Okay, in this, for example, there is a tutorial that goes step by step explaining how to insert, how to design the installation. Okay, I think it's interesting if you see this, or seminars, complete seminars. Okay, By the way, this is my email, okay? So I don't forget to say. Okay. Okay, now that I think the workflow is understood, hopefully, let's go to what I think is the most interesting part. What is related to today's seminar. How can the program, how can how a plumbing water system can help the engineer in the design of an efficient installation. I'll give some examples of ways of improving the efficiency of the installation with our program. For example, if we're talking about the quantity of water, we could create and bespoke our consumptions. What do I mean with this? That everything is editable. If we come here in the list of consumptions, it is possible to edit the flow of consumption units of any element, and of course you could create your own, and this can be with a realistic value. Another thing that I want to explain, earlier you were talking about the problems with leaks, that sometimes is due to the pressure, too much pressure in the pipes. In this program, we can limit the pressure in the consumption, so the installation will be designed with these limits. You can always edit that. Okay, another important part is the simultaneity of the installation. Anytime, here for example, this is a building of eight dwellings. If we dimension the installation, first of all, here in any span, we can see a lot of results. If we click in the span, we can see it with more detail. You can see the gross flow, the consumption, and the simultaneity of each part. Anyway, the simultaneity can be changed. In this case, I have this simultaneity because I define it myself. In this type of pipe, these are the ones that are used. I said that I wanted to use this simultaneity, which is here. This is by the British standard and is actually a conversion between consumption units and flow. This is one way. There could be more ways of defining the simultaneity. Anyway, it is always possible to edit the flow, and you can lock these parts, so the value will not change. So you could decide to have less consumption or less flow in any part you want. This could be one way of saving water or energy. Sometimes, if we are talking about the circulating pump or the pressure drop, that maybe will not be needed. Another part, talking about quantity, was consumptions, the simultaneity of the different spans, and another part, interesting part, is the return line. What does it? Why is it has any? Why does it save water? Because it decreases the hot water consumption. Here, for example, I have this installation with the typical installation with the water heater, the water installation that goes to the different elements. And for example, this is small, but it is what I'm talking about is the return line. Here, I can create a line that with this part, hot water return is another type of hot water, the return water, which will do that next. We will use less water because it will come faster. Once I open for example, the shower, I will have the water faster. It will be hot faster, so I use less energy. This is one part. Another thing about talking about the quality of water, this is a very, we could talk about a lot of things. I was thinking maybe one problem that sometimes happens is Legionella. And one of the things that we can do for preventing this, for example, is in this program, it's possible to decide the temperature in the water heater. This is one of the things we can do, choose the right temperature. And other thing is, for example, measures that we can do. In Spain, for example, is one rule is that the hot water the pipe of the hot water must be above the cold water. So maybe it's better seen like this. If I can, like that, for example. Okay. As always, the heat goes up, the way up. It is better if the cold water is under the hot water. How can we do this? Very easily. First of all, there is an elevation by default. If we see one in each of the floors, we can edit and see the default height of the installation. If we do a pipe, it will have, if the lock is open, this will have the default elevation. So that's what we did with the cold water. And then with the hot water, we can decide another elevation and close the lock. So that's one example, okay, of things you can do. And about energy consumption, things that we can talking about that the energy bill will be lower afterwards. These examples of things we can do. For example, if the hot water pipes have insulation, we will have less consumption in the hot water production. How can we do this? It's very easy. Here, if you see, for example, in this pipe, I used these criteria: interior horizontal hot water pipe. Here you see that I have a thermal insulation reference. If I go to the horizontal pipes criteria, in the hot water, in the interior hot water pipe, you can see that I have used a catalog of thermal insulation. In this case, from a Spanish catalog I have. You could, sorry, this is here in general options, thermal insulation catalog. I have, as I said, one catalog. You could create your own manually, okay, very easily. You could create with the reference of the brand, for example, and say the different diameters you have and which values of internal diameter and thickness they have, okay? And you can use them. What kind of things how can you check that this is working? How can we do this? The program has a graphical analysis of the results, because first of all, as I told before, you can see results in every span. Here, if I click here, I can see, after calculating, the temperature of each span. But maybe it's more practical to see it. This is lower, as you see. Okay, how can this is maybe one by one can be a little slow. What I can do is here in graphical analysis of the results, I can decide that I want to see the hot water temperature. I can do like that. So I can see the increase, the lower and the higher temperature in the hot water. If I redraw, I can see it graphically in the 3D too. This can be interesting to see the difference of temperature, and also I could see the linear heat flow. For example, in this case, you see there's a low loss of heat. But, for example, see this is value 8. Imagine, for example, that instead of using this insulation, I stop using this. And here in the hot water pipe, I can select the thermal insulation. If I do this, and design again. I can see a very different result now. There's much higher loss, and you can see a difference, more difference in the temperature. Okay, so this is exactly the opposite of what I would do. Okay, the right thing is to insert the insulation. Okay, but this is an example of the use of the program, okay, and how graphically you can see this. Again, if we use the return line, we will need less. We will have less consumption in the water heater. So another good thing for the energy consumption. And well, another last part, how can we decrease the energy bill? By acting or doing things about the pressure, about the pumping system. As I wrote here, first, design of criteria. Here we have a number of options for the design. Here, 1 second. Here. This is, imagine one installation that is finished, okay? First of all, you see here, just a little example, here you see a 50 diameter. If we say, take please a look at this because you will see the change, okay? You see this and one pressure needed in the supply connection. You can see this here in the first element. If this is open, you can see the pressure required at the beginning of the installation. Okay, so the program has a lot of different ways of designing. Here in general options, you could decide if you want to design with this criteria, minimum pressure requirement, which, for example, with this value is very typical, saying that the minimum pressure drop is that value. And okay, this could be one criteria. Another criteria could be by velocity, sometimes doing like that. Another option could be designing by minimum diameter. If that's what I want, that use the less diameter possible, I can do this. Design again. And you see here now that the diameter is lower, but the pressure needed is much higher. So that's the kind of thing that the engineer has to think about. What prefers, if less diameter of the pipe, or the pressure needed, or if the pressure system will be needed or not. What you can do here, always the program tells us what is the pressure required. Normally, what we know the pressure in the street. So we can click what pressure we have, for example, the value we have, and then lock it. What can we do with the design of the pressure system? We can do designs that optimizes the use of this available pressure. I'm going to show you in real files. For example, the typical or the more typical installation is a pumping system. Second, here, like that. In this file, what I did is that I closed that with the pressure I have. As this is less than the pressure required by the installation, I needed to insert a pressure group. This is done very easily, okay? Here we have the pressure system. This could be a typical installation that once you know that you don't have enough pressure for the installation, you insert a pumping system. But in this, another option is instead of doing this, you can do a mix of that. So in some floors, you use the pressure of the street, and in other floors, you use a pumping system. This is the example with like that, for example. That could be a way of doing this. Starting from here, and then 1 meter assembly only for the floor 1. This is what I did here. So this doesn't need pumping system. And then this other meter assembly is for floors 2, 3, 4, and Well, and 5 doesn't have any installation. Okay, I hope this is only in ideas. Okay, the thing is that this is a tool, a very flexible tool, and the engineer can do any test they want. Checking the program does a dimension, automatical dimension, but you can close the diameter if you want and check if, for example, imagine like that. What happens if I have more diameter or less? Will be possible? Is it the program does it anytime, and it's very imagine like that. For example, what happens with this diameter? I have these checks, and the program will tell me why this diameter is not good. If I dimension, I have again a good results. And well, the last part, one element in order to decrease the low energy bill could be in order to have less consumption in the pumping system, that the return line has insulation too. Here you see it here in the installation could be like that. I have the cold water, hot water, and then the return installation, which requires also a circulating pump. Well, this is a small, but imagine this as a bigger installation. Okay, how can I need less a smaller element? One thing that can help me is using insulation in the return line, and always I can always check the temperature I get in all the spans in order to see if this is really helping or if it's a good idea or not. Well, I think I have covered more or less everything. Anyway, if you have, I have to go very fast. If you have any doubt, please, you can ask me now or later on in this email. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Maria, for a great session and like a brief session on the plumbing part. Thank you so much for that. Now
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now we can start the Q&A part. Ashu, are you there for a few minutes, because Ashu is having another meeting at 6:30. Ashu, are you there in the meantime? Okay, he is not there. I request all the people, if you have any questions, please ask. You can ask your questions now. I can see in the chat box, if you have any questions, please, you can open for the questions. And there's a one offer from the site team also, like John, if you can just share the offer type that we were discussing, like for the people who are joined this session.
So thank you, Anush, thank you, Marianne, thank you, Ashu. So exactly as as Anush was saying, I mean, we here at CYPE, together with Dito, we have come up with an offer for the modules that Maria has shown. It will be only like a limited offer for all the members who have registered for this seminar. So it is very good to attend these D2O learnings webinars because they get offers like this. It's a very unique offer we're going to do. We will be sending this offer by email to everyone. Okay, basically it will be like the package of our plumbing the software that we offer. I'm going just to share my screen. Okay, just 1 second, so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Here. Okay, it will be something around with plumbing and wastewater, which will includes the CYPE plumbing water systems and the sanitary systems that Maria has shown. It will include as well solar systems and other open BIM software like the open BIM water, and architecture as well for the CYPE architecture, which is free, so that you can use it and of course get more knowledge about the software. The good thing about the software is that we have different versions, and for example, you have a 10-day trial, so that if you would like to try it out, you can more than welcome to download the software and try it out. You have the help from Maria from technical team from CYPE, from Anuj and Ashu as well, and from all the team from D2O and from myself as well. So I mean, we will be sending you a very good offer on this. So I mean, we can take a look, and we're more than welcome for any queries that you might have as well.
All right, thank you, John. Thank you for putting yeah, Ashu.
Yeah, great, John. I think that thank you for this offer for the Indian I think reasonable. So Anuj, I'm here for the next 5 minutes. So I think if anyone has a question, because I
I
have
think
another
so. We
meeting
have
to
one
start.
question from Mr. Sheikh Mohammed. I am just allowing Mike. Mr. Mohammed, like you can unmute yourself now and you can ask your question. Mr. Sheikh Mohammed Ansari. Okay. If any question, if anyone wants to like just want to.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Sheikh.
Yeah. Sir, it's a beautiful session, of course, because I am from services department. So how can I make my students scope their attention towards this area? I mean to say, I want more broader scope. How can I get that scope? Because I can't get it all from it right in 1 minute or two. Any source.
Right. So Mr. Sheikh,
I need your guidance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I want to take this question. And for the students, I think this is the emerging area. I would always say that a start point, please teach the students on these issues, like because the designing of MEP system, when we talk mechanical, electrical, plumbing, firefighting system, and that is something as a design engineer service, because you are in the service background, you are saying that you are in the service engineer. So as a service engineer, because when you go at the site level, you need to do the calculation, do you need to do the evaluation. So for students, if you're asking for that, for me, especially for the facility planning, and that is something in facility planning, we need to understand most of the companies are hiring only those the people who has the knowledge of the system. So to you go through this exam which I highlighted today, and of course in Indian level also there's a lot of green building professional exams are happening which cover most of the things in that. But of course, if you need more details, I think I already pasted my email ID in the chat box, and you can just write us in an email. D2O Learning is doing a lot of episodes related to awareness program. Just try to join the WhatsApp group of D2O Learning. You will get all the future webinars which are happening on the weekly basis. You will get the details on the new topic. So that is I want to highlight here.
Right. Thank you so
sir.
much.
Moreover, we'll focus our attention for the students to take up projects in this area.
Right. Thank you, Ashu. Like I am just putting a one link also like about the D2O learning. You can just click on the link and you will get the multiple links. You can join our WhatsApp group if you are not in any WhatsApp group of ours. There's a one D2O learning social WhatsApp group where you will post regular updates and regular events that we organize freely. Okay, that is a free events that we organize. You can be a part of that one. You can join that group as well. And we have posted one feedback form link also in the chat box. Please click on the feedback form link. Just fill the feedback, give your good feedback or bad feedback, whatever you feel. Just share that one, and you will get the certificate of participation of this session also on your email directly. So that is a please do that thing. And any
so Anuj, I think I need to leave now. Another meeting has been started. So thank you, John. Thank you, Maria. I think
Thank
nice
you,
connecting with you
pleasure.
guys, and look forward to see you in person in India very soon. This training program, I want to see the Maria should come to India and do the training program.
Right.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashu, for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anuj.
Bye.
Shortly, we'll also have a MOU with CYPE.
Yeah, that's great, sir. That's great. Like we were discussing the same earlier, so it would be great if we like sign the campus agreement with the CYPE software.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, that is something as that Anuj I think moves a lot in. We have, I mean, as correct me if I'm wrong, we have around 12 or 13 universities.
13, yeah, we have 13 colleges and universities have signed the campus agreement now. All right.
Exactly, in India. So I mean, which are already using these modules, so.
Right. Any further questions, anyone? I think Ashu has also posted his email ID. Maria has also posted her email ID. You can write to all both the presenters of the today if you are having another questions from the presentations and all. A few feedback and a few questions were asking was like this, like can we get the presentations? So presentation cannot be shared, but yes, the recording of this session will be available on our YouTube channel. So I am just putting the link of the if you click on the that the Linktree link, you will get the YouTube channel link also. Please subscribe the YouTube channel also so that you will get the regular updates. All right, so I think so we are at the 90 minutes. We are closing the session at the correct 90 minutes from the 5 to 6:30 p.m. as per the Indian Standard Time. Is there any further questions we are ready to take? Otherwise, we will close the sessions.
हाँ अनुज सर ये थोड़ा नेटवर्क इशू था. I need the complete series.
The recording, sir, the recording will be available on the YouTube channel. Okay, so I'll post the link already posted in the chat box. Just have a look on the link. And other people, if anyone wants to speak, they can just raise your hand. They can ask questions to CYPE team, to me as well. Anyone, any questions? If they want to raise hand, they can raise hand. We will unmute. So we are getting a good responses, feedbacks. Highly appreciate the efforts of social awareness. Thank you so much, Avinish. All right, so I think that we are at the end of the session. Thank you so much once again, all the people for joining this sessions. Please fill the feedback form so that you will get your certificate of participation. And one more thing I would like to add, use that certificate to put on the social media, either on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or WhatsApp, or Instagram, and tag John, me, Ashu, Maria, because we are available on all the platforms. So please tag us so that we will appreciate your participation here in the session. So please do that and share the learning. What you learned something new today about CWEP or CYPE of the CYPE plumbing, anything, whatever you learned today, please share that learning as well. Hope. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you once again. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, John. Thank you, all the participants. We will look forward to see you in another next episode of D2O Learning.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.